Wow, so we have some huge breaking Jets news coming out now. Two interviews are set to take place. One from Mike Garofolo on the offensive side of the football, and then we have another report from Jordan Schultz regarding the defensive side of the football. Let's start with that one first. So according to Schultz here, the Jets are set to interview Steve Wilks for DC. This is the big name that that all the beat reporters have been throwing out. I believe Connor Hughes was the first to report it. But you look at Steve Wilks, this is someone who I think would actually be a really, really good and smart hire by Aaron Glenn, someone who's called a defense before. He's a veteran defensive mind. He has head coaching experience. He has a lot of experience running his defenses out of four-man fronts with a lot of man coverage. And if we look at Aaron Glenn's defense over the last 2 years in Detroit, I expect to see a lot of that continuing on with the Jets between Wilks and Glenn. Now, of course, Wilks did not get the job. It seems like the Jets are kind of keeping an open mind here, and they're giving other people interviews. It's not just Wilks, Wilks' job and that's it. News is out. Of course, he has to go in and ace the interview here. But again, I think Wilks, to me at least, gives me confidence that, hey, I can go out there and call the defense. You can handle the CEO responsibilities of being a head coach. You can kind of step into that managerial style and focus on other things, right? Game tendencies, how the other team is calling their game, right? Both on the offensive side and the defensive side, keeping in mind the clock, how using timeouts, when to challenge. It's just another set of eyes from a different vantage point, right? I mean, there's so many things that you can dive into from having that CEO style of head coach. Looking at opposing teams' weaknesses. Hey, is there a corner out there that's having a tough day? Maybe there's a cornerback that's looking a little sluggish on the opposing defense. Hey, you know what? Let's go out and maybe target him a little bit. Just small little nuanced things like that. Maybe there's an offensive lineman that's a little slow getting out of the break. Hey, should we maybe send some pressure through that side? Small things like that Glenn now has the luxury to do in this style of role. Again, assuming Steve Wilks were to get the job. So I would like Wilks. Now, yes, of course, you can push back. Hey, his defenses historically have not been good against the run. He's never really... I do find it pretty interesting that he's never really retained. Cleveland 1 year, not brought back. Arizona, one and done as a head coach. He was the interim head coach for the Carolina Panthers, not brought back. He was with Missouri, not brought back after one season. The defense was horrible there. Of course, at the collegiate level, San Francisco 49ers, he was fired there. Of course, not obviously the best resume in that regard. Kind of makes you ask the question, what is Wilks doing or not doing to where he's not getting the job? He's not, having these sustained periods with one organization. It just kind of feels like one and done types of years everywhere he goes, despite being that veteran, experienced mind. And he's kind of a stricter coach too. But needless to say, I do think this would be a smarter hire for the Jets because we're adding experience. We're adding someone to the mix that can help take some of the pressure and responsibilities off of Aaron Glenn's plate. Now, let's look at Mike Garofolo's report here. Reporting on the offensive side of the football, the Jets are set to interview assistant quarterback coach David Blough from the Washington Commanders for their QB coach opening, right? Now, this is really interesting because, what is David Blough, 29 or 30 years old? His playing career just wrapped up. He has 1 year of coaching experience with Washington. Granted, Washington took off this season. We're seeing what Jaden Daniels is doing. Of course, that's not all because of David Blough, but I would assume that he's somewhat of a valuable piece within that organization. But what's interesting about this interview, Aaron Glenn knows Blough. Aaron Glenn has practiced against him. Aaron Glenn has watched Blough in meetings, in practice, how he is as a teammate. Of course, putting the Washington stuff aside for a second, I do think Aaron Glenn, he's a straight shooter. He cuts right to the point. He sets the standard. We saw that in the press conference. Is he going to sit here and waste time talking to people that he doesn't think are qualified? No, I don't think so. But, I can't speak for any other Jet fan, but there's a couple assistant jobs, right? A couple positions within this Jets coaching staff that for me at least, I'm just focused in on. QB coach, O-line coach, offensive coordinator. Those 3 gigs I'm locking in on, right? I got my eyes focused. Who are going to be the hires here because we have got to figure them out. The coaching in those departments has simply been very, very bad for a long, long time. And it's time to change that. Aaron Glenn has the power to change that. So we'll see how it plays out. David Blough interviewing to become quarterback coach later on tonight. And then Steve Wilks interviewing for DC. And also, Chris Harris, as we all know, is also interviewing for defensive coordinator as well. So anyway, let me know your thoughts. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. And as always, go Jets.